step to step, but these 6 elements are the key backbone of the ethical leadership: integrity, accountability, transparency, compassion. This is something where you gain your position on ground for the factor of trust. But the two principle that has to do with fairness and justice and service to others need a very clear fine line. That is, you are not biased at all. You are understanding every aspect. You understand both sides of the story. You understand um, the position of both the side by putting them, yourself in that position. And then you have to come up with either strategy, policy, or solution which can tamp that position of hostility, any crisis, and come up with peaceful solution. So these 6 elements, if any problem comes, even example comes from your home. For example, if you have a fight with your sibling and you know that this child is a favorite child of the parent, so do you think you will seek help from the elders at home? Yes or no?
In my point of view, yes.
Okay, your mom's favorite child is the elder child, okay? And the elder child did injustice to the younger brother or younger sister. And younger sister will complain it to her mother that this happened. So do you think in her heart she would feel like she will get the justice, fairness and justice in that situation if you have a favorite child at home?
Maybe no. Sometimes
Maybe
no. Yeah.
No.
everybody?
No. I think no.
No, right? So understand one thing. If you choose to become a leader of certain community, you have a very high responsibility to understand if they're choosing you out of their bloodline to solve their problem, they're trusting you more than their units. Okay, they believe that you have the fairness and justice in you so that everybody in that community will get their justice. So you must have the stamina, the patience to understand one thing, that if anybody is coming up with a problem, if anybody is facing any problem, you must understand what is the background, what is the root cause, and how you can justify it without being biased. Everybody feels the same. Okay. Now, fairness and justice and service to others is very well connected. So please, when anybody choose you as their leader, make sure either do not become their, do not choose any particular person as your favorite. Okay. And if you have a favorite, please do not show it in front of others that this person is your most trustable one. Try to keep everyone at the same level so that everybody listen and work together. Because if they see any biasness or any favorism, of course, anybody with dignity who feels themselves what's good for them or not would eventually step back. If any one person step back from that community, all right, the unity would not be there. If in any project unity is not there, in any community the unity is not there, it's never a success. All right, it always has controversies and also have no solutions at all. So this is the core principle. Any question, please ask. And unfortunately, we feel around us that these core principles are not being followed because it's really, it's a fairy tale. When we go to the theory, it feels so good, but we come on ground, leadership is quite opposite. All right, and either people tend to stay very quiet, mind their own business, do what they do, move on with the cycle of life, and the other one, a very small amount of people, work for correcting the cycle, bringing in the core principle which is missing in the society around the world. So it really depends on you what kind of strength you got and what is your purpose in life and how do you want to see your life and where you want to see your loved one to live their lives. So if you choose to become a best version of yourself, you want your people around you, the society around you, to be best as well. It's impossible that selfish self become selfish, and you choose your life to be best. Eventually it will affect when things are not good around you. You may travel around the world, but you won't face this thing. All right, any question here?
No.
No. Easy topic. Very easy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's move towards the best part. That is the case study. Please let me know if you can see the screen.
Zoom it a bit so that we can be able to see. The letters are so small.
I think let's do one thing. Let me share in the WhatsApp group for everyone. Would that be okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay, look.
Please open case study ethical leadership.
Okay, same.
Please let me know if everybody got it.
Yes. Yeah, we have.
Yes, we have it.
Got it.
Thank you very much. Please open the case study ethical leadership in crisis.
Okay.
All right, so this is actually a solved case study which I've shared with you. And once we understand what are the steps and how we did that, we are going to break ourselves into groups, and we are going to become a leader for 20 minutes, and we are going to solve a situation. Okay? We are having a case study. I have chosen this particular case study. The reason is that COVID-19 affected us all. It's quite fresh. And eventually, please know that, leaders of tomorrow, that there are rumors that we are going to face some kind of pandemic after 2025 as well. All right. So we must be mentally prepared ourselves how we're going to deal with that. So if you can go through this, if you can read, just let me know once you are done. Once you read it, then I'll explain you further. Yes, Masuma?
Sorry, should we read only one PDF or both of them?
Yes. Case study, ethical leadership. Only this one.
Okay, thanks.
Case study, ethical leadership in crisis. Yes.
Thank you.
We cannot hear you. Are you saying something? Yeah.
No, I've given 5 minutes for them to read this case study so that I can further
All
explain
right.
them.
Okay.
Those of you who are done reading, please raise your hand. Thank you, Anjali. In this case study, we have a scenario of COVID-19. We are recalling it, and we are also putting it into a core principle how different organizations around the globe met these challenges, what step they have taken, and I have put down all the steps in core principles applied. After understanding the scenario, what we were facing in the past, and what core principle and how we dealt, we are going to assume the situation is occurring right now, and how you as a leader would come up with solution, thinking, considering 6 core principles of ethical leadership. All right, this would be our activity.
Kindly say that scenario again. I couldn't quite get it clearly. Thank you.
All right, Clifton, what we are trying to do is we're trying to recall what happened in 2019. You remember that situation? The pandemic outbreak? That pandemic outbreak, I have placed as a solution over here in core principles of light. How we dealt with that situation when we recall that event. So we had different United Nations organization where various NGOs and NPOs dealing with borderless effort around the world. All right, how we dealt with different solutions, what was the step taken? All right, that was 2019, and how we handled it till 2021, 2022 last, you can say that. Almost 2 to 2.5 years, how we handled that. Now we are going to consider if that's happening again, another pandemic is for us to face. How you as a leader are going to take step for your community, considering all 6 core principles of light above: integrity, accountability, transparency, compassion, fairness, and service. For that, I need to divide you guys into 4 people in one group, and I will take you guys to breakout room. I will give you guys 10 minutes. You can discuss with each other. And after 10 minutes, we will have discussion. Are we good here?
Yes.
Okay, I am going to make 10 different rooms. You may join whatever room you like. The rooms are open. You may choose. You may discuss. Once the time is over, I will close all the room. You will come back here. All right. All right.
Can you ask again?
I think the discussion topics should be on humanitarian, not about the pandemic or quiet pandemic or other diseases. Should be on a humanitarian.
Are we giving solutions right now using the 6 principles, or people are giving time to reflect on?
Yes, dears. If it's okay,
Yeah, I
can
think
go
that's
ahead.
what Mahin was saying. We should be thinking around those areas, the 6 principles in answering our case study. That's what I got. Mhm.
Okay, so thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. So beside this, can I share my own ideas, my personal ideas about this challenge? Okay, thank you. So, as I read the text, I have noticed many things and I have my own ideas. So, first of all, when we face a disease or a challenge in our life, we have to take care some rules or some strategies which will be very helpful for us. So, as we all experienced a disease many years ago, about 3 years ago, it was COVID-19, and it was a very big disaster for the world. And I think that first of all, if I myself as a leader, as a doctor, I find a solution. First of all, I will educate people. I mean, I will help people to be informed and to be educated about this issue. And then when I educate them, or I make a public awareness, or I do some announcement for people, then they can take care of themselves. So first of all, it's easy for us to make people aware of this issue, and then we can help them to how to prevent from getting this disease. And then uh, if I was a leader, for example, 3 years ago, I would force the government and all the people or all the diplomats in a government to help people or to have collaboration with the people of that country, so it can help all the citizens of that country to work together with the government, and they can prevent from a big disaster. And secondly, the most important strategy that we can take is medical things, like we can use from medicines if possible. But if we do not have medicine, as 3 years ago we did not have medicine, and all people, all doctors across the world, they were searching to find a medicine for this disease. So, and instead of that, we can prevent. You know that we have a proverb that prevent is better than curing. It means that whenever you prevent from something, it's easy than when you get that disease, and then you will be sick and you will suffer. So it will be expensive for you. So we have to prevent. I mean, we should, for example, get away from people who have this disease, or we should be quarantined. I mean, we should not go to public places. So this can be very helpful for us. And thirdly, I think we may have some other things like social. We can support people in our community, or we can do some mental health support, and we can provide them some resources to be cured. And fourthly, the most important strategy that we can use is to research and make some research, and then we can solve this problem. We can find any solution. As for example, 2 years ago we had this research, and finally doctors could find a medicine for this kind of disease. So totally, these were all the 4 strategies that I as a leader, I will do this if I face this kind of challenges. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. Can I go ahead? Yeah, so
Go ahead.
okay, thank you. Yeah, so when you look at the aspects of finding yourself in that situation and you're a national leader, looking at transparency in the first place, we must be very open in the way we communicate to the public, as opposed to how the pandemic, the COVID-19 was communicated. It was communicated in a way that scared people a lot. So many people that could have survived, they died because they were afraid about how the virus is quite severe when one gets it. And so using the angle or the principle of transparency, you would openly communicate about it, educate the masses so that they are aware of what is at hand. And at the same time, in the procurement processes of medicine, you need to be very transparent and help people understand what happened in 2019, coming downwards, is that many people who did not vaccinate or that did not access the vaccine, it's because they had a lot of suspicions about what these vaccines are, what are the effects on the human beings. So they were not properly, the information was not properly disseminated to the people. So there was no proper transparency in all these issues, starting from the manufacturing industry that were making those drugs. So transparency would be prioritized. And then when you look at compassion, one of the key virtues of a good leader is to be empathetic. And because you are dealing with human beings who are, some of them grieving because they've lost beloved ones, and others are grieving because they are restricted in terms of their movement to do business, and all livelihood activities actually brought stand still. So as a, I would want to be compassionate by being empathetic and put my people or the masses in a position where they will be able to trade, because we saw some instances in different parts of the world where government leaders have been closed borders. They never cared whether people are eating or not. So that's one of the things that I, as a leader, I would want to differently if it with such a situation again. I thank you.
Hello, ma'am. May I speak, please?
Go ahead.
That's okay. Thank you so much for giving me, first of all, hello. I can imagine myself when I face with different situation, with difficulties, with stressful and challenging situation. I have three strategies for myself. First of all, consulting and sharing the points with those who are expert of the task the task. So, for example, we can say we can point out the problem of COVID-19 when all people face with epidemic and hazardous various in different in all entire the world. Most of people, most of the government, they lost their controlling, they lost their management, and it was really disaster. It was really it had exactly negative points for people. And consulting, unfortunately, some people they want to improve, they want to grow themselves, but they cannot find the perfect, or that the person that they want to need to meet his or her point. My point is this: for example, when we get sick, we need to go to doctor. Yeah, it is not great to go to, for example, in front of an engineer to check our healthy or something like this, and we have to be or consulting or sharing our problem with those who are experts. And the second, motivation. I think motivation is really important task for all people, and exactly when we face with different challenges. So we have to be the great supporter of the people. We have to be
Dr. Lotus, not enough time, girlfriend, not enough time.
Honestly, not enough time. We're having great conversation in our room as well.
Great conversation.
Dr. Amjad, we didn't have enough time.
All right, you guys need more time? You guys need more time?
We always say we don't have enough time, but we can proceed.
Yes, let's go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now, you guys had discussion in your break rooms for the strategy. Can we share some of the strategies that you guys have discussed? Anybody who would like to share the strategies?
Yeah, well, in the group I was in, we actually talked about making sure that we had the correct information, because when tragedy comes about or any epidemic comes about, there's information coming from all over, from family, from friends, from the news, from politicians. It's coming from everywhere. And as a leader, it's our job to research all of the information and get the right information that we can give to our people. So we talked about an example as to, let's say, meat. If there's information going around about bad meat and how it's not good for you, what have you, as a leader, and people are asking us, it's we don't need to tell them to stop eating meat altogether, but we need to find out, where is it at? Is it happening in the United States? Is it happening in Asia? Is it happening, in Europe? Where is the problem at? So that we can actually address those issues and let people make their own decision as to what they want to do, and to stay in touch with the leaders within that area to get the real truth. So it's like I say, it's easy to take whatever people are saying, but where does the real truth? And then we have to have integrity when we relay the information back out. It's not our job to decide what to share and what not to share. We share it all, and we share it in love, and let them make their own decisions.
Pastor Dorothy, very well said. These are one of the key um, principles when it comes towards not just integrity, but also accountability, how to take steps. Very well said. So do we have any other person want to add up? We will take one more response. Pastor Dorothy has almost cleared everything beautifully. Anybody else would like to share? All right, lovely, lovely. Thank you very much. So, all right, if there is no more input, please, I would like to know one thing. Oh, no, Nalashwa, please carry on.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, doctor. Good afternoon, all. I think my opinion on the question you gave us on what steps should be taken
This
if
meeting
at
is
all
being
this
recorded.
pandemic,
Please
if
carry on.
at all this pandemic comes again. I think my opinion, I should go by the disaster management cycle. We can start by putting strategies on the prevention of the pandemic. We can put measures by sensitizing the community, putting in place the vaccines. We should also at least put in place everything that we can use, the masks, the disinfectants, and then we can go by also the next stage of mitigation, where we need to put up enough hospitals, the medication, and the professionals, the technocrats, the trained personnel. Step number three, we can prepare also for the pandemic by stocking a lot of medicine and proper medical facilities which have proper medical machines like what are those machines they use for when someone is failing to breathe? The name has it has gone. I've forgotten. Yes, oxygen machines. Yes, thank you so much. And the fourth step is we can put up response measures. Yes, response measures. I think we can come up with at least. I'm still going back to the trained personnel, and in case there are a lot of patients in some places which need to be evacuated, we need to put up transport, things like that. And then the fifth step is the recovery after maybe the pandemic occurred, and then now we have people who have recovered from the pandemic. We can put up measures for psychological measures where the patients that are now okay, even just the community which was affected, can go through counseling. You know, when there's something big that has happened, a lot of people are affected even psychologically. Yes, so those are the measures that I can put up as my opinion to fight this pandemic in case it happens, or in case we are waiting for it. I think these are the measures I can put in place. Thank you so much. I'm done.
Naleshwa, very well explained. Each step very carefully explained. Thank you very much. Before we move over to our next step, I really want our male candidates to please add something, because all the females added. I want their response to any one of you. Clifton, Sabil, Gift, Altaf, anyone.
But I could go. May I speak
Yes, please,
first?
Clifton. Yes, please, Clifton.
Yeah, so I think writing on the 6 principles, that would help us discharge leadership ethically. while information has been talked about a lot around research and dispelling misinformation, my opinion is that as a leader, when there's a disaster like that, you must be very empathetic. As a leader, you need to position yourself in the side of the people so that you are able to respond not using emotions but principle, so that you try to arrive at best solutions that would then prevent further escalation of that particular problem. And then number two, transparency for me is vital as a leader, because whether you are purchasing medicines, whether you are giving information, it must be done transparently. More so because you want to protect people from having some kind of doubts in the leadership. Many leaders that have found themselves not loved or not liked by the people they are leading, it's because it could be issues of not being transparent. So when you're handling a disaster, it's important that you give people information transparently. If you are purchasing equipments that are supposed to be used, like the previous speakers talked about ventilators, let it be done transparently so that whatever is purchased, it also builds the confidence that the citizens are supposed to have in that leadership. So for me, it's critical when you have an emergency that you want to think ethically by applying these principles, because then they will guide you to arrive at the best solution that will save the masses from actually getting into more harm's way. Thank you.
Very well said, Clifton. Thank you for your input. Very well said. Okay, I think we're good to go. We're really good to go. So this would be my last question for this very topic from all of you. And any of you who are comfortable speaking, please raise your hand. Those who cannot, due to some reason, please write on the chat box. This would be a summary of, for me to understand how much you got the lesson and where we are together at what point as a leader for tomorrow. So we have a solution here. We call it ethical dilemma scenario. So you are leading your organization. We are assuming that. And you are leading one of your organizations. So scenario is your organization has limited resources and must decide between two critical projects: providing immediate food aid to drought-affected region, or investing in long-term education programs for refugee children. Both are important, but resources only allow for one. So discuss which one of the projects you will prioritize and explain why. Both is equally important, and both of the situation is happening in your community. But which project will you choose? Yes, Masuma. Yes, Masuma.
Okay, thank you, Mom. So I did not think so much about this, but I myself prefer the second one. The second one is long-term education programs for refugee children. So I think it will be better. Maybe some people think that food is better. Maybe people will die because of hungerness. So in my point of view, education will be better. We have to be a leader that we learn people to just find fish from the river. It's not like this to take some fishes for them from the river, and then they just eat. So whenever we provide them some educational centers, or we provide them to somehow get education, it can help them to to solve the solutions themselves after this time. So it's like long-term help, and whenever we help them with food, then this can help them just for 1 or 2 years. And if we provide them education, it will be very beneficial for the next generation. And also we can teach them how to take or how to, for example, hunt a fish from the river, not just giving them the food. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Masuma. So, Masuma, from the core principles that you have learned, which one you choose? Which area that
Ellen?
does it justify?
So can I speak?
Yes, Clifton.
Yeah, so I come from a school of thought that says urgent things require immediate action, while important things, they may wait. So if there's an emergency, it becomes an urgent thing there and then. So you need to quickly respond to that, because it also has a potential of escalating and be nationwide or the entire community. So in this case, while education is very important, it's very important, and this can be delayed. We need to respond to the urgent thing, which is the drought, because if we don't act then people are going to die, and that might also even affect the lives of the children, because some of these people that affected by the drought could be parents to these children. So we need to quickly respond to that urgent thing and be able to give some kind of leverage for them to in a way also provide for their children. So while these two are very important, but I think, in my opinion, that urgent thing require immediate attention, because if not handled, it may escalate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Clifton. Maham, you're next. After Maham is Nazish, and then Thesego.
Thank you so much, Mahi. And I agree with Clifton that we should consider the importance, and we should also consider the time frame. That what is the importance of what is the importance of the task, and we have limited time as people are dying. So, as a compassionate leader, I will focus on the lives of the children and people, and I would prefer to provide food, and it will lead us to stable the community, and because there will be people, then they will get educated. So first thing is people should survive, and if people are not surviving, how they can know the importance of the education if they are not surviving. Even when we educate ourselves, our goal is to get to be financially stable, so for to survive and to fulfill our basic needs. So I think in this scenario we should focus on helping people so they can survive by providing them food. And also it is a form of education, and it can be also incorporated like an education, educating the children who can have access to the food, and we can inspire them through our act that this is also a form of education to help people in need.
All right. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Maham. Thank you very much. Ms. Nazish,
Yes,
would you like to
I
add?
can choose. I can choose to give the immediate food because this is the basic need.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing, in our countries, poor people don't took education. They are not sending their children to the schools because they don't have food. They have opportunity, they have schools, but they don't send them because they don't have money. They just have money for food. So when when these type of situations are coming, I'll give the immediate food to the poor who need this for their life.
Thank you, Nazish. Thank you very much. After Nazish was Thesego, and after Ms. Thesego, we have Ms. Yanpia. Thesego. Ms. Thesego, you there? Ms. Best, would you please take the floor?
Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all the participants. I am overwhelmed with how much knowledge has been impacted in this training. I'm excited to be part of this training and part of the World Humanitarian Leaders Network. Thank you, Mahin, for the what you're doing so far. I just want to quickly add to what Maham said. First, when we are looking at education, long-term education programs for refugee children, we have to consider, and this will only improve when we feed them. It is
Tempe, you're going in and out. Can you guys hear her?
I think I've lost her. She's here,
Okay.
but I cannot hear her, you know. Can we move to Kiran? She's raising her hand.
Okay.
Kiran, please.
Okay, hello, how are you, everyone? Well,
so if you don't,
can I speak?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Ma'am, well, basically, what I think is that each step is very important. We cannot go without anyone. It is very hard choice to make, and for a successful environment, it's not possible to leave any one of them behind, any of them. But if I have to choose, then I want to choose integrity, transparency, and compassion. If a person is honest and I mean, he works according to his values, and he is very transparent about the processes and decisions he makes, and he is fair to everyone, and he prioritizes the justice, then he will be able to do other remaining steps too, also, because if we are faithful to ourselves, we are very accountable, we are very transparent to ourselves, we are a very honest person, so we cannot lack the remaining steps, because we are the well, it's not to think that no one is perfect in this world, but with these things in a one leader, he can be a perfect leader. He can work towards the growth and wellness and welfare of society.
Thank you, Kiran, for this
Thank you.
ad. Thank you very much. All right, I would like to conclude this session because I really love the feedback. I got it, like you guys are there. This is beautiful. This is beautiful as a community. I would like to add just one thing. When you are at a leadership position, as a personal experience, let me tell you, whenever you have the privilege, the honor to lead a community, understand one thing: you have to keep yourself in that very position. If that's your scenario, what you're going to do, how you're going to be treated, That's rule number one, generally. Number two, this is the only example of food and education, just an example. If this situation comes to you, you have to consider one thing. You have to put yourself in scenario. If you're hungry, would you rather study? If you're starving, would you rather study? If yes, okay, that could be your decision. All right? Because the thing is, food is necessity. Because of this basic need of food, many crime happens around the world just because of surviving, for the survival mode. So whenever such decisions come, please understand the project which deals with survival of life of you as a human, that comes first. There are things where you cannot going to take it anymore. That should be your priority to be dealt with on one go. Put yourself in that situation, put your attitude in that situation, how you're going to behave, it's happening to you. Once you do that, your solution would be amicable. It will be so transparent, it will be so simple, very straightforward. You will understand the complete picture of the scenario. So the thing is, you need to feel it, how you're going to act and how it's going to turn into a person with that difficulty. Because many of people lose themselves because of difficulties. So you need to understand that. You have to be an empath to understand that. Okay, so thank you very much for lecture 1. I would like to give a break for like 15 minutes, and then we're going to move on with lecture 2. Okay, it's a continuation of lecture 1. We're going to continue part 2. Thank you very much. Please take a rest for 15 minutes.
Like sun to the day, we are light and we shine forevermore. The Black History Song. Stream now on your major music platform.
had the opportunity to work with Lotus Richey and her team to create a promo video for my business. And let me tell you, she and her team are pretty darn outstanding. I had recorded a video that we were going to use in the promo. And during our meeting, they actually walked me through what worked in the video, and they provided suggestions for improving the video so that I can actually capture the audience and the clients that I want and the people that need my services. They actually told me what I could add to the video and how to set the entire thing up so that when people watch that promo, they will come away knowing who I am, what I do, and why they should contact me. So if you have the chance to work with Lotus Richey and her team, you are not going to be disappointed.
How is your mother and daughter relationship? Are you one of the millions of mothers and daughters experiencing difficulties in your relationship and don't know how to put it back together again? We have good news for you. The Mother and Daughter Television Network app has finally arrived, and it's designed with you in mind. This amazing app, created by Dr. Bessie Fletcher, a Christian clinical psychologist, has worked with mothers and daughters around the world for more than 25 years, helping mothers and daughters reach the pinnacle of success in restoring their relationships, and so can you. Start creating your mother and daughter relationship today. Go to your app store and download the app now.
Like sun to the day, we are light and we shine forevermore. The Black History Song. Stream now on your major music platform.
It's time for you to start bossing in social media. For all your social media needs, you come to the right place at the right time to get your website designed, landing page, social media platforms, and get the training you need to get in front of the people that's ready to buy your products and services. Let me train you with StreamYard, Zoom, Clubhouse, and much more. And let me help you get your virtual professionals, not assistants, because assistants can only assist you, but the virtual professionals can give you that professional flavor that you need to expand your reach and increase your revenue. Jump on in and get in where you fit in and start boxing today.
Like sun to the day, we are light and we shine forevermore. The Black History Song. Stream now on your major music platform. Like sun to the day, we are light and we shine forevermore. The Black History Song. Stream now on your major music platform.
If you live without income for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe even 5 years, you might be thinking, well, that's a silly question. Well, is it? What if some medical event occurs in your life where you no longer can be the superstar in your household and generate that income? Or what about a planned event where your income comes to a sudden stop? Perhaps your employment has been terminated or your business has ceased operating. Are you prepared with a backup financial income? Or what about those voluntary events in life where you decide it's time to disconnect, perhaps retire, stop working? Do you have a backup income plan or something in place? I'm Sabrina Protic, your financial coach, helping you develop an income plan. Your financial tomorrow depends on what you do today.
Connect with me for a bright and secure financial future.
I had the opportunity to work with Lotus Richey and her team to create a promo video for my business. And let me tell you, she and her team are pretty darn outstanding. I had recorded a video that we were going to use in the promo. And during our meeting, they actually walked me through what worked in the video, and they provided suggestions for improving the video so that I can actually capture the audience and the clients that I want and the people that need my services. They actually told me what I could add to the video and how to set the entire thing up so that when people watch that promo, they will come away knowing who I am, what I do, and why they should contact me. So if you have the chance to work with Lotus Richey and her team, you are not going to be disappointed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can we move towards our PDF crisis management? If you have downloaded it, please let me know. Please do thumbs up when you are ready. Thank you, Aisha. Can anybody help me understand what is crisis? In a literal meaning, what's the meaning of crisis? Aisha, would you like to define what is crisis? Rakia, I've shared.
Ma'am, any sort of difficulty or danger that a person or a community faces at that time.
That's really great. Yes, Miss Best.
This is a state of security.
Best, we have lost your voice again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes. Thank you, Thomasang and Eme. Sabil and Isa, would you like to add what is crisis for you? How can you define crisis? Sabil and Isa. Thank you, Dr. Agnes. Okay, Noor have joined. Hi, Noor. Hi, Precious. I see you now.
Hello, ma'am.
That's great. Okay, let's come up with a very easy solution to understand what crisis management is. Okay, let's put ourselves in a situation. What is the most difficult situation for you at home? What is a crisis for you at home? It could be anything. Maybe breaking a glass, maybe breaking a cup, maybe you burn a food. I don't know. So what is crisis for you at home? I want you to write in the chat box or just discuss. Please respond, like this we cannot carry on a session. Yes, Dr. Agnes, when a child is sick, it's one of the crises, of course. Of course it is. Yes, Ms. West. Okay, if somebody is sick or unhealthy at home, no, very good, financial crisis. So we are taking example of Dr. Agnes. If somebody is sick at home, what would be the step that you would take to overcome that? Anybody, if anybody is sick at home, what are the steps that you will take to make him feel good or her good? What are the steps?
I usually take them to the hospital, or I go to the pharmacy to buy medication that I feel cater for the symptoms that they're showing.
Very good. Anybody else would like to add?
Stay with them so they shouldn't feel alone.
Okay, so my first step would be to ask you, how would you know the person is sick? The first step is to know the person is sick. How would you know? The person would either reach out to you or you will just find out.
I usually find out, I observe, differentiate between their normal behavior and their now changed behavior.
Okay.
Yes, the change of behavior will tell us about that.
Okay. Okay. And then what you're going to do? Step number 2. You have observed that the person is sick. Number 2 is, what is your step number 2?
Assess the severity of the situation.
Okay. And what will be step number 3?
Just ask him or her to share what's the problem or what's their tension.
After you make an assessment, then depending on the severity of the situation, you take an action.
That's really good. That's really good. You guys understand. So when we understand there's a crisis means setback. Any type of setback which is affecting the normality of your life, the smooth cycle of your life, where you feel disturbed or the cycle of life stops or halts. It's a problem. We have to keep it going. That's why we call it crisis management. In crisis management, there are 4 crucial steps. 4 crucial steps. Number 1, preparedness. With the name, you understand you should be prepared for the crisis. There are some known crises. We all understand that, but sometimes we are not prepared for the crisis, either because of resources or unwillingness to prepare yourself for the crisis. It depends on governance to governance, community to community. Some crises are predictable, some crises are unpredictable. But for both the situation, what a healthy society needs is that to be prepared resources-wise and mentally as well, so that if anything happens, they can take out themselves from that crisis and move towards normality of life. And of course, it takes steps, but preparedness is initial. For example, how many of you have taken workshops for earthquake drill? How many of you have taken it? We know there are certain NGOs, certain society which help you to prepare for natural disasters. One of them is earthquake. So it's open for all. How many of you have opted to prepare yourself for that? If not, have you taken any workshop for the awareness session for earthquake management? For natural disaster, yes or no? Many of you understand what are the conflicts, but when you see there is conflict going on around you, be it civil conflict between the communities, between the races, within your country, do you know it is one of the massive impacts which hurts your social and economic growth within your region, within your community? So how are you going to take step as law-abiding citizen, how you can help to make it fair, make it just, so that this problem doesn't affect you, doesn't affect the whole country? As a responsible person, how many of you has the awareness for that? Even if you have awareness of that, how many of you are willing to take responsibility for that? So this is part of crisis management. This is very crucial for each and every one of us. All right. So preparedness is step one. You know what are the areas where we can work, but are we aware of it? Are we ready for it? That's the question. Number two, response. You know the crisis, the scenario is affecting life. It has stopped many cycles of life. How are we going to overcome that? That's the response. What are the steps you're going to take? What are your strategies to overcome that? That's responsiveness. All right. Number three, recovery. Once we are done with the crucial stage and we are at this, stage we are surviving and we are moving towards betterment, normality, we need to have a recovery. It has a lot of impacts, financial, mental, physical, you name it. There's a lot of things which affects in being affected in crisis. How we're going to overcome that. So recovery stage is also part of crisis management, in which we discussed in COVID-19. There were steps, there were precautions, but due to those certain steps, which was not normal for us at that time, we were being affected. We were suffering mentally and physically. Some of you gained weight. Some of you lost weight. Some of you were happy alone at home. Some of you felt frustrated when you were not there in social life. So person to person varies what kind of effect they felt of the outcome. So that's the recovery stage. We have to come up with viable solution as well, how we can support those people who have been suffered. Okay, then it's mitigation. In mitigation, you need to take steps. All right, after the precaution, after the strategies to overcome the problem, mitigation is the step where you have to prepare not your organization but also the community. What if it comes back? All right, how we going to take steps to reduce this risk? What measure we should take? So that's a follow-up we needed for the future to make sure if we're facing this crisis again, it should not affect us as it was affecting us on day one when we were not prepared for it. Mitigation is preparing for your future. Okay, so when looking at the definition of crisis management, the four important elements, when we look into core principles, it has the following elements. It has to do with preparedness, it has to do with response, it has to do with recovery, it has to do with mitigation, it has to do with communication, and it has to do with leadership. Okay, so these are the 6 important cycles which we cannot break. It goes side by side. Any of this element, if it's missing, is going to affect overcoming the crisis management itself. So this is the summarized definition for crisis management. Here, if you want to manage or say any question, please let me know, because I would like to put you in a group discussion where are we going to solve a crisis management. If you have no problem in definition, can you move towards the group discussion?
Yes, of course.
Okay, we are moving towards case study. Could you please open that file? That would be very kind of you.
Say that again.
Could you please open the file case study crisis management? Here we're going to discuss about the refugees. Since my background is from Pakistan, and Pakistan is holding one of the biggest population of refugees in the world, so this topic is very important for you to understand as well. As conflict arises around your region, refugees intake increases, and there is no going back from this. You cannot move away from that. You cannot stop any person who want to seek refuge. So we are going to take case study of Syrian refugee crisis that happened in 2011, and there were involvement of group of countries who were facing crisis and conflicts, which affected a lot of neighboring countries as well. Syria affected the most when it's come to refugees. So in this humanitarian challenges, they had faced shelter, food, healthcare, education, and protection of displaced individuals and families. So these were the crises they were facing the most. So according to many UN reports, you would see that when it's come to refugee crisis for Syria, it talks about they had faced significant amount of resource allocation. They have faced challenges in coordination among multiple organizations. They have faced challenges in addressing the needs of vulnerable population. Okay, so if you are leading refugee crisis, or if you are welcoming refugee in your area, looking at the challenges when we welcome refugees, there are 3 areas which UN also stated. That is resources, bringing in multiple organizations to help refugees, and addressing the need of the population who have joined you. How are you going to help them? Just discuss right now, just whatever comes in your mind. Legally or illegally, people who seek help when there's a war, they will take help from the neighboring countries. How are you going to accommodate them? Because you understand this point, if it was you, if you were facing war, you would be needing help. If you're seeking help, what do you expect from the neighboring country to facilitate you? And if you are the person who's facilitating the refuge, understanding this is the area that you need to help him, how are you going to help him?
By giving them food and shelter.
Okay. Okay, please understand, we read about preparedness, you know, the core principle of crisis management. These the 6 values, 6 of them. Okay, let me help you with this one. Preparedness, response, recovery, mitigation, these 4 areas. When you're giving me an answer, you need to justify according to these points as well. How would you prepare? What would be your response? After helping them, what would be your recovery stage? How would you recover either your team or them, or both the sides? And what would be your future plans? I need to understand this thing, because we are moving towards unrest and we cannot ignore it for long. The world is moving towards unrest. Are we, as human, prepared for this global challenge of unrest? So as a future leader, please answer me. How would you prepare the refuge crisis?
Okay, with preparedness in mind, I would first assess how my own country is doing. Are we able to, are we sustaining ourselves enough to accommodate other people? And then first with that assessing, then you assess the country's national budget. How much money do we have? How much can we put aside to help this new population that is coming in? What do we have currently that we can help other people with? Assessing our resources, basically. And then with responses in mind, if we figured out how our resources are stretched out within our own country, then we can decide, okay, with this certain region, they can go stay in this certain region. We have so and so, we have this kind of facility at this other place. That way we can avoid overcrowding them in one place. We can sort them out within our regions. And then with recovery in mind, I would advocate for them to be employed within the country. I don't know, for them to also earn a sense, I think, for them to also earn a living on their own, that is, so that they can some way, somehow, someday go back to their own country.
Mhm. Okay. Eventually, refuge means you're giving them help for a short time period. And once there's a peace in their land, they must go back. Refuge means that. All right, Miss Best? Yes, Miss Best? Yes, Sanam.
I would like to address some of it as well. So I would say, depending on, I would have to find out first what our country is able to provide and support. And wherever we're lacking at, then I would reach out to another country that has the ability to make that happen for us. And I would do it within a short period of time. A lot of times, the things that are coming upon us is nothing new. It's something that has happened before. So I think the preparation starts even before something occurs. We need to know, even in our own homes, we need to know what we can provide and what we cannot provide. Okay. And then my response is going to be a rapid response. I've already prepared the way, I've got a plan set in place. I know what we can do. I know what the country that I've reached out to and built a relationship, what they can do as well, and start to provide what it is that the crisis has caused, whether it is getting them re-educated so that they can learn to feed themselves or they understand what's going on. They can reach out into their own families or just their own circles around them and just establish what else it is that we can do that we just have not already addressed. You know, what caused this? How do we keep it from happening again? If it's not a natural disaster, how do we stop it from happening again? And talk to other people that have actually, like I said, if it's something that has happened before somewhere else, talk to them and find out what was there for them, what was missing, okay, so that we make sure that we're always prepared for any crisis that comes upon us.
Thank you, Pastor Dorothy. Sanam, would you like to add something?
Okay, I just want to add, is Sonam there?
She's raising her
I just
hand.
want to add, yeah,
Yes,
I want
please.
to add to what Pastor Dorothy has said and with others with regards to preparedness for something like this, because just like Pastor Dorothy has rightly mentioned, it's something that has happened before, even though it has not happened directly to us. It's for us to set aside funds in the budget, put aside some money and say, in case this thing, because this is life we are living, anything can happen at any time. And these cases of refugees happens like even in our country. We have, cases of this in some of our states where refugees from other neighboring countries comes in because of crisis that has happened in their country and they're looking for a place, to stay. So it is important that the countries put aside some percentage or some amount as in budgeted in their allocation, and say this is because as humans, we need to also take care of the next person. We are supposed to be our brother and our sisters, a keeper. So set aside some funds, and then when these cases comes up, we go all out to ensure that we address them holistically, provide education to the children that will be there among the adults, and also healthcare. And I believe one person or one of the speakers also mentioned also giving them a sense of livelihood, because it can be so frustrating. Like we've seen cases, we've gone to, I think here in Nigeria, we have some communities in other states that has been affected by crisis, and they have in Abuja here and some other states, we have some camp refugee camps or IDP camps for them, internally displaced persons camps for them. But if you go there to look at the condition of the people living in that place, you will cry and cry and cry, because government is supposed to step in to do a lot. But unfortunately, they just accommodated them, created the space for them like an open land, and they are just there. Nothing is happening. The children in that place do not have education. Of course, there's no healthcare. They are just left, to just care for themselves in any way they can, or you just die. So in order for us to respond effectively and also say you're coming in to provide a succor, you need to do it well. You need to put in everything that needs to be put in place. Because, for instance, why I mentioned budget is that the country may begin to say, no, we never had that in our budget. So why did you allow them in? Why did you allow them to come in if you never had that in your budget, if you're not ready to care for them, if you're not ready to provide an enabling ground for them to thrive? So we need to, look at this in this angle, and just like we plan for emergency situations in our life, we have budget, we have, savings, say in case of something happens. So that's my own contribution. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. Fabulous, would you like to add something?
Thank you for allowing me to speak. So the only thing I have to say, I know we're talking about crises that happen and stuff that's going on, and it's happening around the world right now. Children are dying because of government trying to make as much money as they can, and they're feeding each other. And I don't want to get really political with it, but if there's no war, we don't have to worry about that. But the most important thing right now is to stop the war, because if we continue to feed into what they're telling us, half of the world is not with the war. It's only a certain amount of group that's with the war because they're getting paid to start a war. And I've traveled the world and I've learned a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of things that they don't show you what's going on in certain countries because they want to keep your mouth shut and your eyes closed. I am my brother and my sister's keeper. If my brother is hungry, I should feed him. If my brothers need help, I should help him. If my brother loses his family, I should be there to help him. Because that's what the Bible said. That's what the Quran said. I am my brother's keeper. But the hardest thing for us in this world, we're so selfish and so blind, and all we focus is on ourselves. If we take the time out and move away from what we need and look to see how we can help our brothers and our sisters, the world will be a better place. But people don't see it that way. What they do is about them. How do I take care of me, me? Always remember, I am my brother and my sister's keeper. That's what God law, that's what God says, and that settles it. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you. Beautifully said, Fabulous. Beautifully said. This is the very moral value that every human, has it. But the problem is that, unfortunately, those who we have chosen or not chosen, eventually they're leading us. They are leading us towards a lot of conflicts which we are not even known about. So what we as a leader are expected is that when we know exactly what's happening around us, we must educate our community as well, what's coming next, so that we are prepared for it. So before things escalate, we should stop. We should stop them to not take another move. Sanam, you're raising your hand. If you want to say something, please carry on. No, she doesn't want to say. All right. To be honest with you, we as a single unit at home, even, Sally, you're right, we are not prepared for one thing, that is unexpected long-term staying guest. We are not prepared for it. So country is our home, all right? but I take world as a home. So everybody across the countries are like relatives, you know. The thing which worries me right now, after understanding group of people what's going around, some of them are not ready to understand we are in crisis and we have to stop this. We really need to stop this. And as Fabulous added, that it's not about you as your country, which matters the most is across the borders as well. You need to understand the different segments of the world. You need to understand different faith and practices of the world. When you meet common people, their understanding of humanity and leading the world is different than that of the one who are leading us. So we must have clear understanding of what crisis is going on around us. We must educate ourselves how we can, as a person, indulge those decision making, not to take any further step which can accelerate such crisis, which favors everyone. Meanwhile, anybody else would like to, definitely Fabulous, and definitely like to add something. Yes, Fabulous, carry on.
Yes, we one of the most powerful thing that we as individuals don't understand is that the world is one world. Yes, we might be living in different countries and different states, but people are only worried about where they're staying at. They don't want to go to see how they can help the next person in another country. I have a very, 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 very bad feeling about all of what a lot of people are saying. Okay, I'm not worried about it because it's not happening in my country. No, it's not happening in your country, but it's happening in your world. We are in one world, and that's what a lot of people are failing to understand. We are in one world. We have different countries, we have different cities, we have different state, we have different government, but we have one world. And if something is going on in our world and we don't take time out to fix it, it's like a domino effect. It's gonna ripple right over to you. And the people from that country that's feeling that pain that comes into this country, gonna take up arms and they're gonna do what they need to do. So we have to see, how can I help my brother in this situation? How can we avoid this situation in this country? People, get your passport, travel the world, learn about your brothers and your sister in this world. Travel the world and learn about your brothers and sisters and see how you can help them. Get out of this, oh, I'm safe here. We are safe nowhere until we travel and learn how we can be our brother and our sister's keeper. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Fabulous, for adding. Yes, Dr. Lotus? Thank you very much, Dr. Lotus. Thank you very much. So this was all about our recap of ethical leadership when you are in a crisis. Number 2 is crisis management. We discussed with the help of each other, we got many feedbacks. We understand our vision, we understand our position when it's come to humanitarian crisis and how we're going to do it. So my request would be, we have almost 41 incredible individuals in this workshop from almost 11 different countries. I really want you all to please connect, because future is something you cannot predict, but you can prepare yourself for futures. Connect with beautiful souls, incredible individuals on ground who are working and serving humanity, and let's learn further from each other more. So this is all I want to add. If there's something else, some feedback, please let us know. We are open to your feedback.
Okay, thank you so much, Amjad. With regards to connecting, like you mentioned, please put in your information in the comment section so that you can go around, copy it when after, you can save the chat after the workshop, and then you get to reach out to each other and follow on the all the social media platforms. You can put your links.
Surely everybody is asking your email, your LinkedIn ID. Could you please share your LinkedIn ID in the chat box?
Okay,
Dr. Lotus, everybody is requesting yours as well. Could you please share your LinkedIn?
One thing I want to mention is that the chat is not set where you can copy anything. So is that even putting it in, it's not going to do any good unless someone is going to send us the information.
Okay. And I don't know how to, I will save the chat, I guess. I will copy paste and I'll send it to you. I can do this thing.
Okay, I think Dr. Amjad, are you done? It should be time for question and answers. If you have any question you want to ask or any contributions to what has been said, please go ahead. Then this time you have a few minutes more.
Yes, we are open for your feedback, for your queries. That's why we are waiting here.
One of the things I would like to ask is that as we're putting our information into the chat, we all have gifts and abilities that we utilize in our businesses every day. Can they also put that in? I don't want to just go to that LinkedIn and don't see anything. I want to actually know who I'm connecting with and when I need to connect with them because of what they do.
Okay. So please put your information, what you do, in the chat so that we can, take a look at who you are, aside from just putting your link, your LinkedIn. Who is this?
I can send you my summary of my work in the chat box.
So do we have any questions? Do you have any contribution, any feedback? Have something you want to add, take away? Because we want to round up this in the next hour. I think we'll have just a few minutes to 6 p.m. here, and that will be 1 p.m. and 12 p.m. Okay, in the absence of no questions, I really appreciate the conversation since we started and how engaging it has been. Please, before I go on, I want everyone to, whether you need to unmute or whatever, give a round of applause to Dr. Amjad. She has actually done an amazing job, given these topics, the two topics that we have dealt with today. A good touch.
You. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you
so
very much. Yeah. And to all the students, and of course, other humanitarian leaders that are here, thank you so much for making our time to come and learn. Learn and relearn, that's the key to life's growth. We need to open up our hearts, open up our doors, and of course, be ready to learn and relearn and relearn and relearn, because in as much as you're living, you shouldn't, they shouldn't get to a point where you feel you know it all. That's why we need platforms like this where we can, go in and learn more, connect with others, learn about what's going on in other countries. Like Fabulous has also mentioned, travel. If you have the opportunity, travel to other countries to find out what's going on. If you don't have opportunity to travel, you can read. Google is a friend for everyone. You can read about what's going on in any country in the world. So that's, learning, giving yourself the opportunity to know more. And of course, as humanitarians, this 3 days is going to be a 3 days where we'll soak ourselves into the knowledge that we need to keep moving, to keep making impact, and of course, contributing to communities where we find ourselves. There is nobody that can do anything effectively without knowing. So we are getting ourselves prepared so that we walk and perform from the place of knowing. So I want to say thank you once again for being here. Tomorrow is another day, and of course the last day, Friday, is going to be another day, and wonderful topics that we also have lined up. And also to add that there'll be certificates at the end of the trainings. So that's the more reason we need, okay, we already have, I think we already have everybody's names, those that are here, and those that joined, and maybe their connection went out. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Dr. Lotis, have anything to say as we close out?
Thank you.
Like sun to the day, we are light and we shine forevermore. The Black History Song. Stream now on your major music platform.